All right, today we're diving into a memoir that is just, wow, it's a story that really tests the limits of what a person can endure. We're talking about navigating the kind of betrayal you can't even imagine and somehow finding a way to heal and find a new purpose. And this quote, it just nails it, right? This isn't just a story about getting through something awful. No, it's about a total transformation. It's about how the absolute worst experiences can somehow forge the most incredible strength. So, that's the big question hanging over this whole story, isn't it? How on earth do you survive not one, but two massive, world shattering betrayals? And not just survive, but actually come out on the other side even stronger? Let's get into it. Okay, so to really get the impact of what happened, you first have to see what life was like before everything fell apart. The year is 2000, and the picture she paints is, well, it's basically perfect. Think of a quiet life in a really close-knit community. It's all about contentment, good friends, and this deep, quiet faith. Just a peaceful, simple existence. And at the absolute center of this world, her pack of 6 dogs. And I mean, these weren't just pets, they were family. Each one with its own unique personality, from the watchful shadow to the shy phantom. As you're about to see, these dogs were everything. But you know how it is in these stories. Beneath that perfect, calm surface, something was starting to go very wrong. It started subtly with a lifelong friend named Sarah. She just started acting different, evasive, and really, really agitated, especially around the dogs. And this is where things get really interesting, because the dogs, they weren't just agitated. They knew. They were the first ones to pick up on the danger, like their own built-in alarm system. I mean, their instincts just went into a hyperdrive. Shadow, the Australian shepherd, would literally put his body between the narrator and Sarah. The others would form this protective circle around her. And the warnings got more and more serious. One time, Shadow's frantic barking leads her to find a tampered lock on her door. And then, get this, another dog, Ink, flat out refused to get near the car one day. And it turns out a wire by the fuel tank had been cut. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That dog saved her life. So you have all these warning signs, right? This feeling of dread just building and building. And then, one night, the storm hits. An attacker just smashes through the door, and in a split second, the dogs go from 0 to 100. They form what she calls a snarling protective barrier, throwing themselves at this guy. They're getting hurt badly, but they do not back down. They are fighting with everything they have to protect her. And then, after all that horror, the official response is just unbelievable. The police basically brush it off. Simple home invasion, they say. Case closed. But she knew that wasn't right. She starts looking into it herself and finds things like meticulously picked locks, details that show whoever did this knew the property inside and out. This wasn't random. It was a planned conspiracy. So she's forced to become her own detective. She teams up with a retired PI, and together, they start connecting the dots. And what they uncover is this whole scheme by a ruthless local businessman named Silas Thorne to grab her land. Long story short, they get the case reopened, and after this epic, draining fight, Thorne is found guilty of assault. It's a win, for sure, but a really, really costly one. And just when you think things couldn't get any more bizarre, they do. The community, or at least parts of it, starts whispering, and these whispers turn into actual accusations of witchcraft. Can you believe that? To discredit her, they claimed her resilience, her ability to fight back, wasn't strength. It was some kind of dark magic. Absolutely wild. Okay, so surviving that whole ordeal would be enough for 10 lifetimes, right? But this story isn't over. There was another storm coming. A much more personal one that would start a whole new chapter on healing. Fast forward 17 years. A lot of time has passed. The scars from that attack have healed, and she's found a real sense of peace. But life has a way of throwing you curveballs, and another crisis was quietly brewing. This time, the betrayal wasn't from an outsider. It was from the inside, from her own marriage. She describes it as this insidious creep of a shadow. You know, the vague answers, the constant absences, the lies that just slowly eat away at the trust until there's nothing left. And it leads to another huge legal battle, a divorce. And the memoir has this brilliant way of showing the toll it took, using the idea of a before and after photo. So picture the before shot. It's her hunched over a pile of legal documents. You can just feel the exhaustion, the anxiety, the weight of it all. It's just a raw picture of what trauma looks like. Now contrast that with the after photo. It's months later. She's in a yoga class, and there's this soft light on her face. Her expression is calm, she's breathing deeply. The change isn't just emotional, you can literally see it. That is what healing looks like. So, how do you get from that before to that after? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle was therapy, specifically a technique called EMDR. It's this really fascinating therapy that helps your brain refile traumatic memories so they don't have that same vivid, terrifying hold on you anymore. It helps dial down the intensity of flashbacks and nightmares so you're not constantly reliving the past. But it wasn't just one thing. She basically built this incredible toolkit for resilience. Her faith wasn't passive, it was an active wrestling match that made her connection stronger. She got serious about the practical stuff: good food, sleep, exercise. She used creative outlets like painting to get the emotions out. And this is a big one: she learned to set boundaries, to say no. Plus, finding a support group of women who just got it was a game changer. And, of course, the unconditional love of new dogs helped heal her heart. On her take on forgiveness is so powerful. She says, look, forgiveness isn't for them. It's not about saying what they did was okay. Not at all. It's about you. It's about you deciding you're not going to carry that heavy burden of anger and resentment anymore. It's about setting yourself free. And that's what it all comes down to. She made the choice to rewrite her own narrative, to stop seeing herself as just a victim of these horrible events. The scars, they were still there, of course, but they transformed. They weren't just wounds anymore. They were badges of armor, proof of everything she had survived and overcome. So this whole journey leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. When you see someone go through all of that and find such strength, it makes you wonder, how can this story maybe guide you through your own tough times? How can you take its lessons and use them to reshape your own story?